the 1991 Little League World Series, presented by Bubblicious. You are looking live at Lamade Stadium, South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's the U.S. Championship, matching Staten Island, New York, against Danville, California. Good afternoon. Welcome back, everybody, with Jim Palmer. I'm Brent Musburger. The best of the East against the tops of the West. Both of these cities have been represented here before. Danville, California, located very close to Oakland, so a lot of their players, big fans of the Oakland A's. They advanced by beating Dunedin, Florida. For Staten Island, they got here by shutting out Hamilton, Ohio, 8-0. But you know, if you turn back the clock to 1964, Staten Island, with Danny Accarino on the mound, 2 outs in the 6th inning against Monterrey, Mexico. And here's how it wound up. The comebacker. And the dream comes true for Staten Island. And when those dreams do come true and you live around New York, what you want more than anything in the world is the ticker tape parade. Jim Palmer, they'd love to have another one.
They certainly would, and a lot of times we don't know much about these ball clubs. You ask the manager. Goody Halverson, the manager, said we don't focus on strengths. We show up, we play the game, and we shake hands. Well, yesterday, their strengths, 12 hits. They scored 8 runs, and then Jason Marquis struck out 11, only gave up 3 hits and a shutout. They hope they get that performance from Pat Hanaway, who'll pitch for them today. Danville, California, they had the butterflies yesterday, Brennan. Basically didn't play well. They made 5 errors, gave up 4 unearned runs. So they got to play a little bit better. They'd like to have a ticker tape parade out there on the West Coast.
Right across the Bay Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So coming up now, it's the United States Championship with the winner on Saturday to take on Chinese Taipei. We'll be back in a moment. And for Little League Baseball, it's only 46 feet from the pitcher's mound to home plate, 60 feet between the bases, 204 down the lines, and 204 dead away center field here in South Williamsport. Jimmy, how about the rules?
Well, shorter games here at Williamsport, 6 innings long. That's the regulation game in Major League, 9. And players, they have to be 12, and if they are 13, the birthday has to come after August 1st. And a very important rule, very significant, the pitchers we will see today will not be able to pitch on Saturday if they reach the final. And also speed, very much of a factor on defense, but not as much on base running and stealing and so forth, because you cannot attempt to steal a base until the ball crosses home plate. Or actually,
now, the young man, Kyle Jackson, taking the field here for the San Ramon Valley Little League out of Danville, California. He will face this lineup for the South Shore American Little League of Staten Island, New York. Anzalone, Marquis, Esposito, Whistle, Holt, Hanaway, Camerata, and then the twins, Jared and Reed, DiCrescenzo in left and in center field.
Here's the defense for Danville, the defense that yesterday did make 5 errors, gave up 4 unearned runs. 3 of those by the pitcher, Kevin Graham, who is now the left fielder. Outfielders throw well. The infielders look like they were very quick and agile. Also good throwing arms.
And the umpires for today. Mike Billerman out of Indianapolis behind the plate. Umpire from Europe works at first base. One from Puerto Rico at second. Michigan umpire draws the assignment at third. Alabama and Victoria, British Columbia, working the lines here as we have a 6-man crew set to begin. Anzalone, the second baseman, due to lead it off here as the East plays the West for the United States Championship. We had a great game here last year, won by Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, over the youngsters.
Traditionally, these are the best games because they're the most evenly matched. And here you have an Eastern team that did put 12 hits and 8 runs on the board. They are usually the smallest of the teams. In fact, all through the regional tournament in the East, they were the smaller the teams, but they do depend on defense. They depend on pitching. There is Goody Halverson, who is the coach, and he said basically we're speed, we're defense. We like to play good fundamental baseball. We'll see if they do that.
Brought a team to Williamsport back in 1985.
The stake was getting in the final.
That's right. You know who. And Chinese Taipei awaits the winner of this game on the Saturday afternoon. We'll see that one on ABC's Wide World of Sports at 4 Eastern. So Jackson's first pitch high, and we are underway. That'll keep it loose if nothing else.
Certainly will. 6 or 7 years that I've been up here, Brent, what I have seen is that it all starts with the pitcher. Not as much stuff. It helps if you have a good fastball and a curveball, but you have to throw strikes.
Jackson pours one in, and the count goes 1-1. Strike. A ball and 2 strikes. You know, the San Ramon Valley Little League, they are the 30th California team to win the West and come on into the Little League World Series here in Pennsylvania. Great baseball players through the years have come out of the state of California, bound or foul, and ball and 2 strikes. Thrill for the parents who are here with their youngsters. All the folks driving over from Staten Island, held up on the swing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff hitter, top of the first. Check swing, popped it up. Infield pop-up handled by Hudson to shortstop, and 1 out.
I think also part of the most difficult time for a pitcher, you come out of the bullpen here. I'm not sure there is a bullpen, but you take your warm-ups and then you come out on the mound a little bit different. The height of a Little League field, the mound could be no higher than 6 inches versus 10 inches at the Major League level above home plate.
Well, Jason Marquis, the shortstop for Staten Island, and the Staten Island players wearing those full plastic face guards. Cheering on her son.
Well, part of the tradition here at Williamsport and in all Little League programs is safety. See the double flap helmet face guards here. Not all Little Leagues have to wear that. They choose to.
Up the middle, base hit. Ball popped off that aluminum bat, didn't it, for the first hit of the afternoon in this game.
Well, they actually mowed the yard, the infield. Some people, that's baseball vernacular for the ballpark, but they did mow the infield. Good swing by Jason Marquis, pinked it into center field, but they actually made this field faster than it was the first game, and it was extremely fast then.
Now the third baseman, Brian Esposito, with Marquis holding on at first base. He's been throwing strikes.
Well, it's a big fear for some pitchers at a Major League level here in Little League. We saw in the first game Robert Piercy still, even though he get hit hard, it was Esposito's Brian's mother. But if you stop throwing it over, you can't utilize the 7 players that are behind you.
Ball and a strike.
Good little breaking ball. Just veered away into the impression. Well, we see where the intensity is, don't we?
It's always with the parents. Kids are enjoying themselves, having a great game. Got away from the catcher, and the runner will go to second base. So Marquis into second. One that got down in the dirt.
Most likely will go as a wild pitch because the ball bounced. Justin Staley tries to catch it. See him collapse on it. Blocks it the way he's supposed to, but good base running. You can't lead till the ball goes over the plate. But a key to getting a good jump is that when you do take your lead, it's an aggressive lead. You have your balance on your lead foot, so your momentum and your impetus is going towards the base in front of you.
Now, in case you were not with us in the first game, we had a lot of runners on at second base signaling the pitch to the hitter and also location. And it could be that, having watched some of that action, that here the 2 youngsters from California are out talking about what to do with the runner on at second. The pitcher's mother, Jackson's mom, watching from the stands here.
And what we saw in the first game, 1 was a fastball, 2 was a curveball. Sometimes you will change the signs. You can reverse them, a lot of options.
So a good breaking ball, and that is the first strikeout of the game for Jackson. 2 out, runner on at second, and now here comes the cleanup hitter for the East, and that is Mike Whistle.
Well, good read by Kyle Jackson. Also, Justin Staley. They had success with the breaking ball. They missed on the pitch that the runner advanced to second base and came right back with it for the strikeout. So many times, Brent, even at Little League, the hitter will dictate what you throw. He will show you what his weakness is.
Shadow closing in on home plate. Fastball will be tough this part of the afternoon right now. Mike's mom watching.
Mike Whistle with 2 RBIs yesterday in the quarterfinal game. Also scored a run.
Bounder to the third baseman. Fair ball, and he retires the hitter. So Staten Island puts a runner on second base, but the numbers 3 and 4 hitter cannot bring him home. And now California will come up.
The crunch time. If you're a pitcher, can you get a guy out in scoring position with 2 outs? And if you're a hitter, can you get him home? Toughest at bat you can have, because the only way to score him is to come through with a base hit.
You know, this South Shore of Staten Island about to take the field here with Pat Hanaway, their starting pitcher. They're very proud of how the youngsters have done academically. And they know how to make a straight line coming on the field here. All our honor students with averages in the 90s, the coach wanted to make sure that we got that information, and here is the young man.
So we refer to them as scholar athletes.
That's right.
Well, aptitude has a lot to do, whether you're playing Little League or Pony League, or as you go up, whether you're a football, basketball player.
And he will face this lineup from California: Isom, Basso, Behringer, Graham, Gross, Rucker, Hudson, Jackson, Staley. And I want to go back to Gross for a moment, Jim Palmer. Kyle Gross is his father is someone you're very familiar with.
Oh, yeah, Wayne Gross played with most of his career with the Oakland Athletics, was an all-star in 1977, but also played with the Baltimore Orioles. There he is. He's not the manager, but a coach. It's interesting, in infield drills, he turned around. He's a left-handed hitter when I faced him, hitting all his circles with one hand from the right side. I guess he has too much power from the other side of the plate. Defense, and it's a good one. They only committed 1 error yesterday, and we talked about aptitude. Very important part of playing defense is to expect that every ball is going to be hit to you, and when it is hit to you, you know what you're going to do with it.
You know, I look at the twins in the outfield, the DiCrescenzo. I can tell they're not identical. One's left-handed and the other's right-handed out there.
Well, I believe they're fraternal twins, and
that's exactly right. As Greg Isom will lead off, and then it'll be Daniel Basso and Jason Behringer here for California.
Well, like playing the Orioles, I lined out to Ripken. Which one? Did you hit it to second? Did you hit it to short? Or did you hit it to their dad, who's coaching third base?
Esposito in a step at third in case Isom tries to drop down an early bunt. Takes one high.
Well, we saw in the previous semifinal game, that is the way they play third base. Only 60 feet down the first baseline as it is between bases, so they play very shallow, want to get to the ball as quickly as they can.
I love the way Wayne Gross rifles through those signals down there at third base. He learned it, no doubt, from Weaver, how to do all that. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm going to have to ask him, what's the hit sign?
Get away. Hey, right where you want it now. Come on. Undress it.
In the air. Anzalone makes the put out. 1 out. Daniel Basso, the center fielder. 2 up now for Danville, California.
I had a chance to talk to Pat Hanaway, who's doing the pitching for Staten Island. He said, I try to throw it over. I have a fastball and a curveball, nothing else. Pretty simplistic for a 12-year-old.
Here's a 12-year-old at the plate who, when they asked him here this week to write down what his favorite television show is, he said, the Playboy Channel. Push back a little bit and down.
Well, I doubt if they have that. I doubt if they have that channel up here at the cabins where they stay.
I don't think
He may be
so.
a little disappointed. We talked about the first game at 46 feet. Batter has to react pretty much as you do in the major leagues. At 60 feet, 6 inches.
Outside and low, and it is 3 balls and no strikes.
Dr. Creighton Hale moving the mound back a foot because of that exact fact. And there's the pitching coach.
That's right. Hit in the back was Basso.
I never got hit by a pitch at a major league level, but I can tell you, at Little League it hurt, Pony League it hurt, American Legion, Babe Ruth.
So the right fielder, Jason Behringer, steps in, 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the first, and Hanaway seems to be struggling here a little bit, Jimmy.
Well, he is. He has not gotten any curveballs over. Getting a little advice from his dugout. Very simple signs for catcher Mike Whistle. He's basically putting down 1. That's a fastball. I would assume that 2 would be a curveball.
Foul back.
What that swing remind you of? First game.
Yes, indeed. If you didn't get a chance to see Chinese Taipei, they exploded for 11 runs in the first inning, hit 4 home runs, all 4 by 2 players. Nice catch by Whistle, preventing the ball from getting to the backstop, allowing that runner to move up.
So if you're Jason Behringer, all right, if you've watched the first 2 hitters, you can pretty much look for a fastball here. He has not gotten a curveball over yet.
Hit in the air to right field. It'll stay in play, and the right fielder, Camerata, can't come up with it. And the runner on first will move to third base. Might have been a little problem with the sunshine out there this time of day. He went back, looked up, and lost it.
You could never tell. The sun not directly in his eyes, but we're up here in the booth. He's out there where it's glary. Also a lot of background. Looks like he has it. Ball with the wind blowing a little bit from right to left may have blown a little bit farther than he anticipated. That will be scored as an error.
And Danville with runners on at first and third, and their cleanup hitter, Kevin Graham, number 20.
Well, this is the young man that pitched yesterday and made about 3 errors, but also throws close to 81 miles per hour. That's how fast they had him on the radar gun.
And Hanaway jumps up in a count, no balls and 2 strikes. First and third, and 1 out. No score. We're at the bottom of the first. Gone. A 3-run shot by Graham.
Teach a hitter's bat speed. Look how quickly that bat gets through the strike zone. And what makes it a little bit quicker is that's a hanging curveball. Started him off with a curveball, tried to come back for the strikeout. Turns out being a 3-run home run.
California jumps ahead of New York 3-0, and here's Wayne Gross's son, the first baseman, Kyle Gross, drew up against Pat Hanaway.
Wearing his dad's number. Wonder why he's wearing 14.
strike. Base hit. That's the second hit of the inning. After a batter was hit by a pitch, there's an error on the right fielder, then the 3-run homer, and now a single by Gross, bringing up Colby Rucker, the third baseman.
He brought up a good point in the first inning, the top of the half, saying how quickly the ball comes off the aluminum bat. And therefore, one of the key things to do, and when you see this in the Chinese type pay team year after year, is having a balanced swing, keeping your eye on the ball, and just making sure you make contact enhances your chance of being successful.
In the 2 games this afternoon, we've seen 6 home runs. 3-0 here in the bottom of the first, with the winner to take on Chinese Taipei Saturday afternoon. Still in the bottom of the first now with 1 out. It'll be out of play.
Field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you make contact, they will come. Long balls, line drives. They hit the ball so hard in the first game, some of the infielders didn't even have an opportunity to react. We've seen a little bit of that here early in the second game.
Gets past the catcher, and Gross takes second base.
1-2, son.
Mike Wessel not doing a real good job. Again, we can't be too judgmental because these are 12-year-olds, but they're going to try to keep the ball in front of you. You have to get out there. Nowadays, a lot of catchers trying to do it one hand. It doesn't always work that way. That's better. Of course, if you're Mike Wessel, you're also saying, I'm not anticipating him throwing the ball 3 feet outside. Let's throw it where my glove is.
Up the middle and into center field. Wayne sends his son on in. He slips coming around the bag, and he'll have to retreat to third base. As he came around third, he slipped and went down, and he had to retreat.
Staying right in there. Did not hit it on the end of the bat. The good alumina, as we would say, was in good wood. There it is. It looked like he might have almost missed the third base bag. Caught himself. Would have been the 4th run. Very difficult to throw anybody out from the outfield in Little League, even if you throw well.
Goody out for a quick conference with his catcher and pitcher. Now going back to the dugout. 1st and 3rd, and only 1 out, and here's Nate Hudson. And this is a situation that is always troublesome for Little Leaguers, how to defend 1st and 3rd.
Well, you can't turn to double play. So you have a choice. You can bring your infield in, but then again here in the 1st inning, then you exacerbate the chance of having a bigger inning. And that's why it's so difficult. If you're the pitcher, the ball's hit right back to you. If you think you can get a double play, you go right to second, then you throw to first. If not, you might want to think of not giving up that 4th run. But whatever, check the runner on third.
There goes the runner from first. The throw is to the pitcher, and now they get the man in a rundown. Gross leaves third, and they've got him hung up. Well defended, but nobody back at the third baseman. He's out. He got him. Good hustling play by Staten Island. Extremely well executed on the 1st and 3rd.
Well, it's not exactly textbook, but they did get the final out, mainly because of the shortstop, Jason Marquix. Not the final out, but the second out, because of the fact that he had heads enough to eventually get to third base. This is a design play. Right here, they throw it to the second baseman. He looks at the runner right now. He sees Kyle Gross at third, throws to third base. They have him in a rundown. Bad throw, saved by the catcher.
Nice play by the second baseman. Makes the throw, and no! His foot was not on the bag. His foot was not on the bag. Safe at first. And the runner scores from second base. It is 4-0. And the first baseman is credited with an error on that play. The throw was there in time, but he was not making contact with the bag.
This is a tough league.
That was close, wasn't it? It was hard to tell. You know, he sort of pushed his foot back again. If he'd have come off the bag, probably with the good look, might have gotten it. Here's Kyle Jackson now, the pitcher. Another ground ball to second. And that does it, but not before Danville, California scores 4 runs on 3 hits. One a 3-run homer by Kevin Graham. We'll be right back. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Down by 4 runs already.
Kyle Jackson, who's on the mound, presented with a 4-run gift. So all he has to do is not change his game plan. Acknowledge the fact that one pitch is not going to beat him unless he stops utilizing his defense. So throw it over, mix up your pitches. He has 2 of them, at least that's what we've seen, and throw strikes.
Kevin Graham did a 3-run shot, and if they can make this hold up, we would expect to see him as the starting pitcher against Chinese Taipei on Saturday afternoon. That might be a very interesting matchup. The young man throws in the 80s. He's got the size. But let's see how this one unfolds. Still a long way to go. The New Yorkers down by 4. Starting first baseman.
As you look through some of the regional scores, they put 17 runs on the board against Snug Harbor, 12 against Snug Harbor, 11 against another ball club, 11 against Connecticut, 8 yesterday, 12 hits. So relax, try to do what you initially came to do, which is to try to get a base hit every time if you're a hitter, and then just tighten up your defense and hope that you get a little bit better pitching. Get back in this game. 1 or 2 runs right here.
One out, and so far it has not been a real happy birthday for Matt. That's the 2nd strikeout in the game for Jackson. Good breaking ball.
Yeah, the slow motion camera, you can really see the tumbling effect of that breaking ball. Appears it's going to be at strike zone, a little bit lesser speed, so the hitter jumps out, and then the ball curves underneath the bat. Perfect example of changing speeds.
Close.
Well, ample strike zone. We saw that in the first game. Rule book in the major league says it's from about the top of the knee to under the armpits. That's not the case anymore, but here in Little League it is. And sometimes that plate gets a little wider than 17 inches.
Ground ball. 2 out. Nice throw by Hudson, the shortstop.
Reminds you a little of Sean Dunston. I wonder if Nate's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Talking that way. Camerata, the right fielder, due up. 2 out, 4-0. Danville, California, head of Staten Island. Great thrill for all these youngsters just to get here, isn't it?
Certainly is. I'm not sure they start the season. I would like to think that most kids play Little League because of the friendship, the teamwork, sportsmanship, learning how to play baseball. But once you get into the program, pretty good bonus.
Big crowd here. Sitting up on that hillside, out beyond the outfield fence, grandstands jam. Some of these parents have given up a lot of time to travel around the country and watch these youngsters play in the various regionals. There you see a shot of the outfield. They'll be packed again on Saturday afternoon.
I think we have a tendency when we show you mothers and parents of the team members that are here to forget pretty much what Tommy John talked about when he presented the Mom of the Year award, which is so much of Little League is the parents, the volunteers, and for every parent here, you can do them a millionfold across the world.
So a base runner, first walk off Jackson, and now DiCrescenzo. This is Jared, the left fielder. Two out, East trailing by 4 runs. Danville, California, scored 4 in the bottom of the first. Jim, do you think that the Chinese Taipei coaches bring the same discipline and attention to scouting these other teams that they do to the fundamentals of the game?
I would think so, but I'm not sure it's necessary. And I'll get back to that in a second. Not because of the 17-1 score.
Hello.
Real interesting article in Sports Illustrated with John Daly when he won the PGA, and it talks about the fact that very simple Chinese ethic. They feel that if they work hard, they'll be successful. I think that they come over here and they're fundamentally sound. They do the things they're supposed to do. They'll win whether they scout or not.
Some of those youngsters, I've been asked so many times what happens to them after Little League. Some have gone into the Japanese league, but they have recently, 2 years ago, started a professional league in Taiwan. There are 4 teams, and most of them now are manned by graduates of this tremendous Little League program. Count as 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that article also discussing that. Talking also about the fact that the Chinese Taipei team used to play in front of 30, 40,000 people. Now they're around 1,500 to 2,000 because of this professional league. Much more interest at that level.
The last team to beat them here was Trumbull, Connecticut.
And that was a team effort. You know, Chris Drury was a pitcher that day, a young hockey player that was completely poised, full of composure. Pretty good pitcher, not outstanding stuff, but mixed up his pitches.
2-2 and 2 out. Back to the shortstop. And this will do it. Staten Island out in the 2nd inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd with Danville, California ahead by 4 runs. Back to South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. You know, one of the great stories about Little League this year is the fact that the Soviet Union had its first league. There were 4 teams around Moscow. They did not travel to a tournament any place. This was their first year. They started late, so they competed amongst themselves, but in the years ahead, they hope to send a team on to the tournament. Off the third baseman's glove, and the leadoff man, Justin Staley, reaches base here for Danville, California.
Well, as a matter of fact, the people here in Little League would try to convince you that Gorbachev was not part of a coup. He was actually watching the Little League finals in the Crimean Sea.
Whatever he was doing, nice to have him back.
Yeah.
So an error is assessed the third baseman. As Staley reaches base, and Greg Isom due up here. He popped up.
See, if I was managing a Little League team, and what I'd do is I'd have my third baseman play in, but I'd have him play about a step or 2 to the left. I can't anticipate too many of these youngsters pulling the ball.
Into left field, and going back is Jared DiCrescenzo, and the runner on first tags up and alertly goes to second.
Well, just like you have to get a good lead, wait for the ball to go across home plate or reach home plate. Right here, same thing applies. Nice play by the left fielder. Jared DiCrescenzo runs it down, and then Justin Staley tags up and goes into second base. He's in scoring position.
Parents are yelling from the stands to appeal it over at first base.
Why not?
Here it comes. The parents over here do not agree. They figure they had a much better view than the umpires did at first.
They're a lot closer.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Daniel Basso, the center fielder, now up. Teammate on at second. You know, we've talked about the Shippensburg team that reached the finals last year. Shippensburg defeated Staten Island in the regional final to get here, and 3 members of that team played for Staten Island on that losing team have now made it here. Esposito, Marquis, and Holt. There's one into left field, base hit. Runner had to hold up. He now has to hurry, and he gets in ahead of the throw, and the hitter alertly goes to second base. Very good base running here by California.
Well, it's good base running because what it does, it forces the defense to try to gamble. You're down 4 runs, and what you try to do is try to get the lead runner. That would have been a tag play, so you have to make a perfect throw, and he wasn't able to do that, the left fielder. And then, as you said, the kind of gave up a little bit, but still had enough of it to ping it at the left field. Right here, trying to get the lead runner, and then the base runner does a great job.
Jason Behringer hit a fly deep to right field that was misplayed. This one going deep to left, and it's gone. The second 3-run home run by Danville, California, and it's a 7-0 lead.
Jolted. Great concentration, good swing. Behringer does the rest. Very strong wrist. Really got the bat head out there. That ball traveling about 240 feet.
And it means a pitching change. Pat Hanaway done for the day, and third baseman Brian Esposito going to come in now and do the pitching.
I think we may also have a change in the outfield. The checkup for the center fielder looks like also may have been a substitution.
They may have brought the center fielder into third and put in a new center field. Let's see exactly.
Nope, I don't know.
They made several switches here.
That or the first baseman went to get a new glove, trying to trick us and succeeding.
We've got Jimmy Tubbs up here. He'll pick up these numbers for us. We'll make him responsible for that.
Well, he's actually probably just had breakfast with most of this team this morning.
So here are the changes. The pitcher becomes the catcher. The center fielder goes to first base, the third baseman pitching, and the first baseman goes to third base. Got those now, Jimmy?
Well, I guess that answers the ultimate baseball question. Who's on first?
Now, instead of the catcher, hit whistle will stay, but the pitcher's gone to center field. All right, I think we've got it squared off now. So here's Kevin Graham. He hit the first 3-run homer for Danville as they jumped ahead 3-0. And now the young men from California are starting to play like Chinese Taipei, up by 7 runs. Oh. Esposito's first pitch, low and inside. Swung at one that was a little low, didn't he?
We were talking the other night down in Texas about certain hitters. The count gets 2-0, and it's like their credo is never, ever let one go by. I think that's what Kevin Graham is thinking. Already hit a 3-run home run. Good little girl. She must. California. Oh,
hit off the bat. It's a foul ball. It went over.
That's right, Kevin. It's your fault.
It's your fault, Kevin.
Yeah. Just trying to get out of the way is Kevin Graham.
Watch this.
There, a duck. And he does. Why does it look like he hit his
back first?
So if you're a home plate umpire, yes, it looked like. John Billerman, he has no idea. He's trying to get out of the way, too. They can't anticipate that. Oh, it looked like it nudged off his back.
Yeah, it ricocheted right off it. Foul ball.
Now you see why you have a double flap helmet. That's probably the best way to get out of it. Roll that left shoulder if you're a right-handed hitter into it. And if you are going to get hit, take that shoulder, have the brunt or the flap of the helmet.
Line drive dropped by the shortstop. throws him out. Well, I mean, that was a rocket ship.
I'm surprised it did not drag the shortstop, Jason Marquis, into left field. You can see the power that Kevin Graham has. That looks like a good tee shot. Well, it almost got to left field, but it did flag down by the shortstop. I thought he threw it, kind of lost control of it, taking it out of his glove, but umpire thought otherwise. Didn't matter. He threw him out at first. Kevin Graham should, though, run all the way. Never assume somebody's going to make it out.
Oh! Kyle Gross with his second at bat. Ball on a strike. 2 out, 7-0. California leading New York. United States Championship and a World Championship on Saturday afternoon. Chinese Taipei, for the 6th straight year, has reached the final. Check swing foul.
If son's going to be like father, this is Kyle Gross. His dad played with the Oakland A's and the Orioles. He's going to be a better fastball hitter than breaking ball hitter. Or maybe Wayne just said, Kyle, I want to teach you how to hit the curveball. I never could do it. Wayne Gross, a tough left-handed pull hitter.
Check swing to the first baseman. And Gross is retired. 3 more runs for Danville. And the champions of the West lead the Eastern champion. Out here in the top of the 3rd, no runs, 1 hit. They've committed 3 errors. 7 runs on 5 hits and no errors for the young men from Danville. And Reed DeCrescenzo, the center fielder. And an old friend checks into the booth here. Not a bad left-handed pitcher. And a friend of yours, Jim Palmer, Tommy John. Tommy, nice to have you with us here this afternoon.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And I know before the game, Jim Palmer, you were remarking what a nice award he had to give away.
Oh, yeah. Mom of the Year. Your lovely wife, Sally, out there.
She's the brains of the outfit, Jimmy. You know that.
Which kids? You mentioned during the speech that you had some kids playing Little League, or they're probably past that age, as old as you are.
No, we have young kids. I just got married late. Tammy's 16, Tommy's 13, Travis is 12, and Taylor's 9.
A lot of Little Leaguers.
And that award that was presented by Tommy John, the French Mustard Mother of the Year, and sometimes we forget just how much, Tommy, the mothers mean to the sport of Little League baseball.
Well, I'm sure Jim will testify that when he played baseball at that age, his mom was taking him around and washing his unis and making sure that he had the food after the game. And
not Jim, Tommy. He had a chauffeur.
No. I just played in Beverly Hills. All the other kids did. But I'll tell you what, the days that I played, my mom would get me through that paper route in a hurry. Other days I had to do it on my bike.
In our city of Cresskill, woo, a little curveball on it, Jimmy.
Even at this age.
Huh?
That's why you and I never hit at Little League age.
You were a star then, you know it.
Here's the leadoff hitter, David Anzalone now. Tommy, this young man's pitching very well.
You know, he has a nice motion, doesn't he, Jim? Really nice motion, I think.
We talk so much time about balance. And it's a key, and having the right thing. Had a chance on Monday night to see Nolan Ryan. He's thrown about 95 miles per hour and got his 8th win of the year. He's been out with some problems, but he wonders why he can pitch so long. It's great balance, follows through, gets over that left side because he's right-handed. It takes all the stress, allows the big part of your back and traps and whatever take care of the pressure. That's the key. I mean, you had one of the longer careers in the history of the game along with Jim Cott, and you had great mechanics.
Balance is one of the keys in any sport. Tennis, golf, baseball, you name it. It's balance.
Ball and 2 strikes here with 1 out.
Talked about that Little League mound. It's only 6 inches higher than home plate. I think I'd like a little bit more slope.
You know, that's what I told Dr. Hale. I said, the one thing, this is the first time I've seen this ballpark, and I said the one thing that looks funny is the flatness of the mound.
Now 2 out.
I kind of like that Dodger Stadium mound. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, another little, almost looks like a slider, but I assume that a curveball. So many kids are running up to me. How do you throw your curveball? And what they do is they take their arm, they spin it from right to left versus trying to stay on top of it. Those Little Leaguers have the problem that their hands are pretty small.
Their hands are small, and they don't have the strength to get over the top of the ball and pull down on it to get the ball to break top to bottom.
2 balls now on Marquis. Tommy, what are you doing now?
Brent, I do a lot of corporate speaking to sales groups. I'm just getting ready to go down to Florida. And there's a gentleman in New Jersey by the name of Russ Berry wants to start a winter developmental baseball league. And I'm a consultant / baseball operations man. And it's going to give me a chance to get down to Florida. And then I want to donate my time at a private high school down there and coach their baseball team this spring.
That'll be exciting. You've got a lot of knowledge to disseminate.
You know, Jim, it's fun to be around kids who want to learn to play baseball, who are not affected by agents, press clippings, etc.
So that'll do it. And Tommy, again, thanks for dropping by. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, buddy.
Good luck down Florida.
I hope so. Thank you. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Well, porous defense. And pitching not up to their capabilities. Gooden, who's pitched well lately, but struggling early.
Pinch hitter Joey Loveland steps in now for Danville, California. They lead it 7-0. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. This is the second pitcher for Staten Island, Brian Esposito, now on the mound. You can be substituted for and re-enter once in a Little League game.
If you come back in the position where you started the ball game. Another rule variation is also that you could take a pitcher out of the game, have him come back in and pitch again, which you can't do with the normal season. So, in other words, if you started the game, you could go play a defensive position, then come back and pitch later on.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball into left field for a base hit.
Well, that's what I said. I just don't see playing down the line. Not that many of the young kids are going to pull the ball. That's not at least the way you teach hitting. So play off the line. If you want to play shallow, that's fine. Take a couple of steps because that's where the majority of the balls are going to be hit. And again, another step or two, that's a 5-3. Third baseman picks it up, throws it over to first base, and instead of a base runner, you have an out.
You know, it can't hurt having a major leaguer coaching third base and bringing some of his expertise. When you think about it, these youngsters are pretty aggressive at the plate. As the ball gets away from the catcher, Loveland goes down to second. Nate Hudson now the hitter. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, part of being down by 7 runs is sometimes assume you're going to catch it. Ball did move. It did run away from the Staten Island catcher, but didn't react very well to that.
Foul ball.
I think sometimes they play so well here. They play at such high standards that we forget they're 12 years old. And
Exactly.
we expect them to always be able to perform. And that may be the difference between the Chinese Taipei team. They almost always do perform, make the right play.
One ball and 2 strikes. Esposito is taking his signals from the dugout. He backs up away from the mound, looks over at the manager, comes back up and throws. watch how he handles this now. Now he'll look over to the dugout. Catcher gets the sign at the same time.
I hope so, for his sake.
Right. He might not have gotten that last one. Pitch was a little high. Nevertheless, he fouls it back, and it's 2-2.
Well, we traded, talking about the Orioles in 1971. After that season, they made the Frank Robinson trade for Doyle Alexander, Warwick Harrison, Bob O'Brien, and a catcher by the name of Sergio Robles. I don't know if my stuff was diminishing or whatever, but he said, I said, well, don't you want to know what I'm throwing? He said, just throw it. That was early in my career. Had me worried.
Base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third base. Nobody out. Runners on at first and third. Danville with a 7-run lead and rallying again. And now it's Kyle Jackson, the pitcher. Wild pitch, allowing the run to score, and it's 8-0.
Get that ball, son. Hit.
No, this is just a pitch that gets away. Runner on third sees the ball get by the catcher, and he will come in and, as Brent Musburger told you, score the 8th run. The runner down at first moves to second.
Up the middle, fielded by the shortstop. He thought about trying for the lead runner, but he retires the hitter Jackson at first base. He spun when he saw that runner going, but elected to throw to first.
Hey, look at the scoreboard here. You see 8 runs for Danville, but you also see 3 errors. Great play, and they get the out at first. Nice play by the first baseman, but if you don't have the wild pitch, you don't have the 3 errors, that most likely would have been a double play ball. So Staten Island, their forte defense, they haven't shown it this afternoon.
Justin Staley, the number 9 hitter and the catcher, at the plate now. 1 out and a teammate on at third.
There's another unusual play. You would think they'd play the infield in. You would at a major league level. You bring your infielders in because you want to cut off another run with 1 out. For already 8-0, you have to have your infielders play shallow enough where if on a slow grounder or even a hard grounder, they'll be able to make the play and try to cut off the runner.
Okay, here we go.
Second baseman playing really deep. Shortstop a little bit in.
Oh.
Pretty good imitation of Taipei here by Danville, California. The youngsters love coming here.
Well, so do the old people. You
True.
see the same people year after year here. They come from their little league districts all over the country.
That time. Did you guys?
Esposito ready. Hit to his second baseman. 2 out, but another run scores, and it's 9-0. They traded out for a run.
And there's an example. Well, the pitcher thought that there were 2 outs because he ran off the field. But if you bring the infield in, you might have a play at the plate. This way you concede a run, and it does make it 9-0. More difficult to come back and try to win this game. To be quite honest, Brent, I doubt if they ever trailed 8-0. So maybe that's a move that you don't do, but a little bit unusual. You think you'd try to keep that other run from scoring.
Kellen Smith is the pinch hitter. Batting for Greg Eisen here. Bottom of the third. Check swing right back. Esposito slip. Ball will get behind him, and reaching first is Smith.
We told you how flat the mound is, but also occasionally you'll slip. There's a little bit of hole where your left foot lands. Good reaction by the pitcher, unable to get to it. Nor is the second baseman. Another base runner.
Now Stephen Otis will be the pinch hitter. 2 out. Runner on at first. California leading by 9 runs. Danville, California, located very close to Oakland. Last year was Southern California, which was beaten by Pennsylvania. And Northern California closing in on an appearance in the championship. Well, we weren't surprised when Chinese Taipei exploded against Canada, but this one came like a bolt out of the blue, as Danville, California has taken a 9-run lead on Staten Island, New York. Breaking ball foul.
Ball. Get that ball catch.
Troy Ward, the ball that's almost a double. Position of the ball when it goes over the bag. The ball could actually go over the bag and bounce in fair territory and still be ruled a fair ball. Third base umpire right there, Brian Ergang from Wyoming, Michigan.
That does it, but not before Danville comes up with 2 more runs. And now after 3, California leads New York 9-0. Little leaguers also are deeply involved in community services. They had a recycling drive this year, and they gave a $10,000 first prize, and Felix Millon, the former major leaguer, his little league out of New York City, was awarded the top prize. And with us now is the league president, Manny Rodriguez, who has joined us. And Manny, first of all, congratulations. That's a wonderful honor. And what will the Little League do now with the $10,000 first prize?
Well, now that will give us a lot of input for next year. You see, it's a league that we don't have no money. And thank you to this company, now we have the money.
That's great.
I bet you next year I will be here.
Ground ball to the shortstop. They, in fact, caught it in the air before it hit the ground. So a nice play by Hudson. And there's 1 out.
Manny, you said you'll be here next year in recycling, or is this money going to allow you to come here as a team?
It's going to allow us to come as a team because right now we got the money to come.
Okay. All you got to do is win some games, right?
Yep, we got to win the game first.
A lot of games.
But we will try.
Whistle the hitter, bounded foul. Manny, there's a lot of talk about inner city youngsters not playing baseball today, that they have turned to basketball, that they've turned to football. Your perspective from New York City, are the youngsters getting an opportunity? Do we have the young baseball players coming up?
Yes, we do. We got, you know, that's a lot of talk about the kid going to basketball and football, because really the basketball and football, they could play 9 months a year, and baseball of 4 or 5 months. That's the reason. But we always trying to get into the baseball, because really the baseball is what the money is right now.
Manny, where are you from? Where's your home?
Puerto Rico.
San Juan?
Where? No, Ponce.
Hey, Ponce. Now listen, when's Puerto Rico going to be able to beat Cuba? How come all those Cuban athletes handle you at baseball?
I don't know. Really, they got good ball players there.
Okay. Manny, listen again. Congratulations to you. Good luck, and thanks for dropping by.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next year.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we've got 2 out here. Jim Palmer in the top of the 4th inning on a shortstop action. He's made both putouts. And Matt Holt, who struck out back in the 2nd inning, now moves in here.
Kyle Jackson just mowing him down, throwing a lot of strikes, only given, to this point, 1 hit.
Right past him. This is a very impressive California Little League team.
Well, they have played a lot better than yesterday. Made 5 errors, 3 by their pitcher, Kevin Graham, who we saw, and they seem to have gotten the kinks out. They said Troy Ward, the manager, said that they made some mistakes they don't normally make.
I want to check the records to make sure.